Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me closely. Because today is not about motivation. Today is not about hype. Today is not about applause. Today is about your life. And whether you realize it or not, you are standing at a crossroads right now. One path leads to discipline, growth, power, purpose. The other path leads to regret, weakness, wasted potential. And the scary part, most people don't even know they're choosing the wrong path. They smile, they laugh, they post, they pretend they're okay, but deep down they feel it. They feel that weight on their chest. They feel that voice whispering at night, "You were meant for more." And they're right, you were meant for more. But there is one habit, one silent addiction, one destructive behavior that is destroying dreams every single day. And it's not what most people think. It's not laziness. It's not failure. It's not lack of talent. It's procrastination disguised as comfort. That's the habit. Procrastination doesn't always look like laziness. Sometimes it looks like planning, researching, organizing, and waiting for the right moment. It shows up dressed like responsibility, like patience, like being careful. But deep down, it's fear wearing a clean suit. It's the habit of delaying what you know you should do because doing it means facing pressure, judgment, and failure. And most people don't even realize they're trapped. They think they're preparing, but they're actually avoiding. That's how comfort becomes dangerous, because it makes delay feel normal. Comfort is addictive because it doesn't scream at you, it whispers. It tells you you've worked hard, take a break. It tells you you deserve to relax. And yes, rest is important, but there's a difference between rest and escape. Comfort becomes a problem when you start using it to avoid your calling. You sit down for a moment, then hours disappear, you scroll a little, then days are gone. And before you know it, you've made peace with staying stuck. That's the trap, because comfort doesn't hurt today, it hurts later. The worst part about procrastination is that it steals your confidence without you noticing. Every time you delay something important, your mind remembers it. Every time you say tomorrow, your spirit takes a step back. You start to lose trust in yourself. You stop believing your own promises. And once you lose self-trust, everything becomes harder. Discipline becomes harder. Motivation becomes harder. Even simple tasks feel heavy. You begin to feel like you're not capable, not strong enough, not consistent enough. But the truth is, you're not weak. You're just stuck in a habit. Procrastination disguised as comfort also destroys momentum. And momentum is everything in life. Momentum is what makes success feel possible. Momentum is what makes you feel alive, focused, hungry. But procrastination kills momentum slowly. It doesn't take everything at once. It takes a little piece of your drive every day. One missed workout becomes two. One delayed plan becomes a month of excuses. And suddenly the dream that once excited you starts to feel far away. Not because it's impossible, but because you stop feeding it with action. You have to understand this. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. That's how the mind works. Delay creates resistance. The more you avoid a task, the bigger it becomes in your head. You start imagining it as painful, exhausting, impossible. But most of the time, the task isn't hard, the starting is hard. And procrastination makes starting feel like climbing a mountain. That's why comfort is dangerous, because it makes you believe you can always begin later when later never comes. And the saddest part is this: procrastination doesn't just waste time, it wastes potential. It wastes the version of you that could have been stronger, wiser, richer, healthier, and unstoppable. It wastes the future you deserve. It wastes the opportunities that only show up once. People don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they keep delaying the work that reveals their talent. Comfort makes you feel safe, but it keeps you small. And a small life is the most expensive price a human being can pay. Life does not reward what you intend to do, it rewards what you actually execute. You can have the most beautiful dreams, the clearest vision, and the most detailed plans written in a notebook. But if they never leave the page, they mean nothing. The world does not move because of your thoughts. It moves because of your actions. Too many people confuse being busy with being productive. They talk about ideas, they analyze every angle, they wait for certainty. Meanwhile, someone with less talent but more courage steps forward and takes action. Intention feels powerful because it gives you a temporary sense of progress. When you say, "I'm going to start," Your brain releases satisfaction as if you already did something. That small emotional reward tricks you into believing you're on the path. But intention without execution is self-deception. It keeps you comfortable while nothing changes. You can intend to get healthy, intend to build wealth, intend to fix relationships, but until you act consistently, your life remains the same. Intention is private, execution is visible, and the visible results are what shape your reality. Execution requires discipline when motivation fades. Anyone can act when they feel inspired. Anyone can start when the energy is high and the vision feels exciting. But real growth shows up when the excitement disappears and you still move. Execution means doing the work on ordinary days. It means keeping promises when nobody is watching. It means choosing progress over excuses. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with ideas. It is filled with repeated action, taken even when it feels inconvenient or uncomfortable. The marketplace of life does not pay you for potential. It pays you for value delivered. Employers do not reward what you plan to finish. Clients do not reward what you meant to provide. Results are the only language the world consistently understands. You can be intelligent, gifted, and creative, but without execution, those qualities remain hidden. Execution turns invisible talent into visible impact. It transforms concepts into products, effort into achievement, and preparation into power. Without it, even the greatest ability stays locked inside you, unused and unrecognized. Execution also builds confidence in a way intention never can. When you act, you gather proof. Each completed task becomes evidence that you are capable. Each small win strengthens your belief in yourself. Intention only feeds imagination, but execution feeds identity. You begin to see yourself as disciplined, reliable, and strong because your behavior supports that image. Confidence is not something you think your way into. It is something you act your way into. And every time you follow through, you reinforce the version of yourself you are becoming. There is a quiet power in being someone who simply does what needs to be done. No drama, no endless announcements, no constant declarations, just action. That kind of person separates themselves in any environment. While others debate and hesitate, they move. While others wait for clarity, they create it through effort. Execution sharpens skill, reveals opportunity, and attracts momentum. Over time, consistent action compounds into extraordinary outcomes. Not because of luck or perfect timing, but because movement creates results where intention alone never could. Most people sit around waiting to feel ready before they take a step toward their goals. They believe readiness is a feeling that arrives like permission, like a green light flashing in their mind. But readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. If you wait until you are confident, fearless, and perfectly prepared, you will be waiting forever. Every major move in life begins with uncertainty. The first step is always uncomfortable because you are stepping into something unfamiliar. Growth does not ask for comfort. It demands courage before clarity ever appears. The idea that you must be fully prepared before you begin is one of the greatest lies ever accepted. Preparation is important, but preparation without action turns into avoidance. You can read every book, watch every video, take every course, and still feel unsure. That uncertainty does not disappear through thinking, it disappears through doing. Action teaches what planning never can. When you move, you learn. When you attempt, you adjust. When you try, you improve. The path becomes clearer only after your feet touch it, not while you are standing still. Confidence is not built in your mind first, it is built through experience. You gain confidence by surviving what you thought you could not handle. Every time you act despite doubt, you expand your capacity. The first conversation feels awkward. The first attempt feels clumsy. The first effort feels small. But with repetition, skill grows and fear shrinks. If you demand confidence before action, you block the very process that creates it. Courage comes before confidence. Movement comes before mastery. The beginning is always messy, and that is completely normal. Waiting to feel ready is often just fear disguised as logic. You tell yourself you need more time, more knowledge, more stability, but beneath those reasons is the fear of failure, rejection, or embarrassment. The truth is, you will never eliminate risk completely. There will always be unknowns. There will always be challenges. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is simple. One group moves with fear, and the other group waits for fear to disappear. Fear rarely disappears on its own. It weakens when confronted directly. Action creates readiness in real time. The moment you begin, your brain shifts in to problem-solving mode. You stop imagining worst-case scenarios and start dealing with real situations. Small steps create momentum. Momentum creates belief. Belief creates stronger action. It becomes a cycle that feeds itself. You realize that what once seemed impossible is manageable. You begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. Readiness grows as a result of engagement. It is shaped by effort, sharpened by mistakes, and strengthened by persistence through discomfort. There is power in moving before you feel qualified. There is strength in starting before you feel certain. When you act first, you break the illusion that you need perfect conditions. You learn to adapt, to adjust, to improve under pressure. You discover abilities you did not know you possessed. Every step forward reshapes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who waits and start seeing yourself as someone who moves. That shift changes everything, because once you understand that readiness follows action, hesitation loses its control. Comfort feels harmless at first. It feels like a reward after effort, like a safe place where nothing can hurt you. There is nothing wrong with enjoying peace, rest, or stability. The problem begins when comfort becomes your default setting. When you start choosing what is easy over what is necessary, you slowly weaken your edge. Growth requires friction. Strength requires resistance. If you remove all pressure from your life, you also remove the conditions that force you to evolve. Comfort keeps you relaxed, but it also keeps you exactly where you are. Greatness is never built inside convenience. It is built in early mornings when you would rather sleep. It is built in late nights when quitting seems reasonable. It is built in repetition, discipline, and sacrifice. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has faced discomfort regularly. They did not avoid it. They leaned into it. Discomfort stretches your limits. It reveals your weaknesses and gives you a chance to correct them. Without discomfort, there is no sharpening. Without sharpening, there is no excellence. Comfort may protect your feelings, but it does not build your future. When you constantly choose comfort, you train your mind to avoid challenge. The brain adapts to whatever standard you set. If your standard is ease, your tolerance for difficulty shrinks. Small obstacles begin to feel overwhelming. Minor setbacks feel like major failures. But when you regularly expose yourself to discomfort, your capacity expands. Hard tasks become manageable. Pressure becomes normal. You become resilient. The difference between average and exceptional often lies in what a person is willing to endure. Those who accept discomfort as part of the process develop a strength others never experience. Comfort also limits your ambition in subtle ways. When life feels easy enough, you stop pushing for better. You settle for good instead of great. You convince yourself that stability is success, even when you know you are capable of more. That quiet settling is dangerous. It slowly lowers your standards. You stop chasing improvement. You stop testing your limits. Over time, you forget what you once dreamed of becoming. Not because the dream disappeared, but because comfort made mediocrity feel acceptable. And once mediocrity feels acceptable, growth begins to fade. Comfort is a teacher that comfort can never replace. It forces you to adapt, to think creatively, to dig deeper. It builds discipline because you cannot rely on feelings alone. When things are uncomfortable, you learn to act based on commitment rather than emotion. That shift changes everything. You stop being controlled by moods. You start being guided by purpose. The more you practice stepping into uncomfortable situations, the less power fear has over you. What once felt intimidating becomes familiar territory that you can navigate with confidence. Choosing discomfort does not mean seeking pain without reason. It means willingly stepping into challenges that align with your goals. It means pushing yourself beyond what feels safe in order to become stronger. Every breakthrough sits on the other side of resistance. Every improvement requires effort that stretches you. Comfort keeps you preserved, but discomfort transforms you. When you understand that growth and discomfort are connected, you stop running from hard moments. You begin to see them as opportunities to rise above who you were yesterday. Every time you delay something you know you should do, you send a quiet message to yourself. That message says, your word does not matter. When you promise to wake up early and hit snooze, when you say you will start today and push it to tomorrow, your mind records it. These small betrayals seem insignificant, but they accumulate. Over time, you begin to doubt your own discipline. You hesitate when setting goals because deep down you are unsure if you will follow through. That erosion of self-trust is far more damaging than any external failure. Self-respect is built on alignment. Between what you say and what you do. When your actions consistently match your intentions, you feel strong and grounded. But when there is a gap between your words and behavior, tension grows inside you. You start to feel frustrated, disappointed, and restless. It is not because you lack ability, but because you are not honoring your commitments. That internal conflict drains energy. Instead of moving forward with confidence, you carry guilt. And guilt quietly weakens your motivation, making the next promise even harder to keep. Delays also create a habit of lowering standards. When you repeatedly accept incomplete effort from yourself, that becomes your new normal. What once felt unacceptable begins to feel ordinary. You tolerate missed deadlines, unfinished plans, and half-hearted attempts. The bar drops slowly, and you adjust to it without realizing. Self-respect requires standards. It requires holding yourself accountable even when no one else is watching. The moment you stop demanding discipline from yourself, you begin to accept less than your potential. And accepting less becomes a pattern that shapes your entire life. There is a powerful shift that happens when you complete what you start. Even small tasks, when finished, build a sense of control. You feel capable. You feel reliable. Each follow-through strengthens your identity as someone who acts. But each delay chips away at that identity. You begin to label yourself as inconsistent or lazy, even if that is not who you truly are. Identity is shaped by repeated behavior. If your behavior is delay, your identity becomes hesitation. If your behavior is action, your identity becomes strength and dependability. Weak self-respect does not happen overnight. It develops gradually through repeated compromise. One skipped workout becomes a week. One ignored responsibility becomes a habit. Eventually, you stop expecting excellence from yourself. That expectation matters because it determines how you show up in every area of life. When you respect yourself, you demand growth. When you do not, you settle. The outside world responds to how you carry yourself. Confidence rooted in self-respect attracts opportunity, while insecurity rooted in broken promises pushes opportunity away without you even noticing. Rebuilding self-respect begins with small, consistent victories. It starts with doing exactly what you said you would do, even when it feels inconvenient. Each completed action repairs trust within yourself. You begin to see that you are capable of discipline. That belief strengthens with repetition. The more you honor your commitments, the more powerful you feel. Self-respect is not given by others. It is earned through your own consistency. When you eliminate unnecessary delays and follow through daily, you reshape how you see yourself and how the world responds to you. Most people spend their lives waiting for someone to come and change everything. They wait for a mentor, a friend, a partner, a miracle, a perfect opportunity. They believe the breakthrough will arrive from the outside like a gift. But life does not work that way. The harsh truth is that nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to feel your urgency the way you feel it. Nobody will carry your dreams with the same hunger. And once you accept that, something powerful happens. You stop waiting. You stop hoping. We start moving. When you realize you are the rescue, you reclaim your power. You stop blaming circumstances, people, and bad luck. You stop making excuses about the past. You understand that your future is built by your decisions, not your conditions. Even if life has been unfair, even if you have been hurt, even if you have failed, the responsibility still belongs to you. That is not a punishment, it is freedom. Because if it is your responsibility, it is also your control. And control is where change begins. Being the rescue means being the one who takes action when you do not feel like it. It means being the one who shows up even when motivation is gone. It means you become the person who creates structure, discipline, and direction. You stop depending on emotional energy and start depending on commitment. You begin to lead yourself instead of waiting to be led. That is what separates winners from victims. Winners do not wait for perfect circumstances. They create progress with whatever they have. They use pain as fuel and struggle as training. When you become the rescue, you also stop expecting people to understand your journey. Some will doubt you, some will laugh, some will ignore your efforts until results appear. That is part of the process. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to prove it through consistency. The strongest people are not those with the most support, but those who keep moving without it. When you stop seeking validation, you unlock a deeper kind of strength. You begin to work in silence, and silence produces power. The rescue mindset also forces you to face yourself honestly. You can no longer hide behind excuses. You can no longer blame your lack of progress on others. You begin to see clearly where you are wasting time, where you are being lazy, where you are being fearful. That honesty hurts, but it also heals. Because once you see the truth, you can change it. You can correct your habits. You can build better routines. You can remove distractions. You can start becoming the person you keep imagining. Being the rescue means understanding that your life is your responsibility every single day. It means you wake up with urgency. You wake up with purpose. You wake up knowing that your dreams will not happen by accident. You stop asking for an easier path and start building a stronger mindset. You stop praying only for blessings and start working like you already received them. You become the one who saves your future, your family, your legacy, because when you finally accept that no one is coming, you become unstoppable.